Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
This is our Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. Today is day 54 in the house. The Power of Veto competition has transpired, and it feels like the drama is only beginning.
Yes, because we are here to let you guys know that Morgan won the Power of Veto.
Yeah.
And of course, she's going to take Vince off the block. I mean, is it possible? No, it really is actually possible. I mean, she should take herself off the
Yes.
block. But there are actually some discussions going on right now about maybe trying to get her to use it on Vince. Who out there thinks that this is a very real possibility? Let us know in the comments. Raise your hands.
I will raise a finger.
I
will
think
raise
it's a
couple-
possibility.
Okay, I think it's a possibility mostly just because after the veto was over and after we learned that Morgan won it, it was an intrusive thought in my head. It was not something that I needed to be prompted by anyone in the house, just because the influence that Vince has on people, plus
their relationship.
Yeah, like their closeness has been well documented here and in many other places. And so it's something that, yeah, we had to inevitably think about, but then there's a difference between us thinking about it and then it coming out of someone like Keanu's lips. And then all of a sudden it becomes like, okay, is this a conversation that's actually going to be had with her? What is she going to say about it?
And it's funny, too, coming from him because he's also been on the block where he's like, maybe I'll just throw this to Vince in the past. Like, there have been people that have been sitting beside Vince feeling like they're going to throw things to Vince or help Vince. So it's not surprising that this would come up. Like you said, they have a very close relationship.
Yeah.
She might feel that she's in a better spot than him. He's been up multiple times, like week after week after week kind of thing, that maybe at this point she's like, you know what, this just might end up being it. And I feel like maybe I'm in a bit of a better spot than him. I don't know. Like it's a possibility.
We're going to talk through that. We'll go through a lot of scenarios here. We'll also talk a little bit about how our guy Keanu, like we had so many good things to say about him yesterday. He's kind of lost the plot a little bit today. I'm sorry. I think it's just Keanu. He can never fully win us over completely as a strategist.
It's okay. It's gonna be okay. We know who he is, and we know that he has some good gameplay in small little bouts, and then it's the rest of it, which we all know about. He is messy, he is not the greatest game player, but that's okay. I still like him.
Listen, we've already talked about the staying card at this point. I can't take it back. Keanu, you still have it, but of course, we're gonna get through it all. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we do have so much more coverage coming on Big Brother 27. We are getting close to the home stretch of the season. Like the jury is almost here. We are going to be your guides the rest of the way. We love hearing from you in the comments. And we also are so excited to get into Survivor, the amazing race with a bunch of Big Brother house guests competing on that. It is going to be a very fun fall.
Absolutely. We really appreciate all the support you guys have given us here. Hitting that subscribe button helps us tremendously here at the channel. And again, thank you so much to everyone that has gone over to our Instagram, which is Matt and Jess TV, and have followed us over there. It's been overwhelming response. We really, really appreciate you guys.
It's been really, really cool seeing a lot of new faces over there. So thank you so much for your support there.
Thank you.
All right, so as you said, Morgan has won the Power of Veto.
Yes.
It's really funny, too, because going into the veto, it really felt like Vince almost had this unlock in some ways because Keanu, we talked about this on the update yesterday, that it felt a lot like, okay, he wanted Vince up there. He's okay if Vince goes. He kind of flipped on that, and it was just like, I want to make sure Vince is safe no matter what. You know, Kelly gets drawn, Lauren gets drawn. I know Kelly and Vince have had their issues, but Keanu probably would have pushed Kelly to use it. It just felt like everything was coming up Vince entering this competition.
Yeah, I mean, really, even at the beginning of all this, when he had his HOH and he picked who he was going to pick, his target wasn't exactly Vince. It was Morgan. And obviously now Morgan has the veto. So we are in this kind of situation that it's like, okay, maybe he can maybe get Vince to convince her to use it on him, and then she'll stay, and then she will go. And it'll just be the way that it is.
It'll be, oh, this is going to be such an unbelievable mess, like in so many different ways.
It'll be so dirty if they go this route.
And so entertaining.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Morgan, but if you go this way, I'm going to laugh and I'm going to feel bad about it for like a split second, but then I'm not, because
it's so snaky.
It is really, really snaky. Okay, here's how we got to this discussion about, is Morgan going to use this on Vince in the first place?
Yeah.
It starts with the idea that, okay, Keanu, now that his target has won the veto, he's very much in this, okay, I need to make sure that Vince stays. Like, you get the sense that there is this little tinge of regret that he put him on the block in the first place, but Keanu really felt like he had to send Vince a message so that Vince knew that he couldn't keep putting his allies, or the allies that Keanu thinks are Vince's allies, on the block every single week. And this was his only way to do that.
Yeah, and he did. Whether or not this is really gonna stick with Vince or not, I mean, that remains to be seen. He's still on the block right now. I'm sure he's just telling him everything, Keanu wants to hear. It's so difficult when you want to be friends with somebody. There's so many of us that have been there. You really want to be friends with somebody. You meet somebody and you're just like, man, I think we can, we're going to be friends for life. We can ride together in this game. Things are going to be great. And you really think you have a good connection because that person is telling you that you have a good connection.
Yes.
But really, they're doing you dirty every single time. He needed to put Vince in his place. And I think that he did. And he's made his point. Can that be repaired? I mean, we all watching know that it kind of can't be, because Vince was never really on board with him in the first place. But for Keanu, he doesn't know that.
And that's why it's so frustrating right here, because, if we could talk to our guy Keanu, we would be like, you have to let Vince go. If Vince goes this week, it's okay. You can't just be in this position where you keep clinging to somebody who doesn't really have your back. And like, this is the part of it that's maddening for me today, is this idea that, okay, like, let's say Keanu, you find a way to save Vince this week.
Yeah.
Is Vince ever going to forgive you for nominating him? Because, yeah, Vince hasn't always had your best interest at heart, but it's not like Vince has put you up before.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to end up being that great for him. There's no winning Vince back, we'll call it. I mean, you never really had him to begin with, and that's just the hard lesson that you're going to have if you don't end up at the end of this game winning the game, when you look back and you're like, oh, wow, he never had my back.
Okay, so Keanu is trying first and foremost to think of, okay, is there somebody I can put up on the block to ensure that Vince ends up staying? And like, we know previously he talked about not nominating Ashley, but now he is like, okay, maybe Ashley is that person, because he doesn't know about the judges, so he doesn't know how insulated she really is. So he went to Ava, somebody else that ironically he's talked about as a possible replacement, and he was just sort of like, if Ashley is on the block, would you consider getting rid of her instead of getting rid of Vince? And Ava was really non-committal about it, and she was just sort of like, I know Ashley is really close to Will. I would have to see how Will is feeling about it, so I will think about it and I will let you know.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like the answer is just no.
No, the answer is 100% no. And 2 minutes after this conversation ended, Ava went and immediately ran all this back to Will, and Will's response to her, once again, Will, very good sneaky player, he was just sort of like, tell Keanu whatever he needs to hear. If you want to tell him yes, you tell him yes. You do whatever to make sure that we're not on the block. Everything else, we can just figure all that out later.
God, I love him. Team 50, man. He is so great.
Yeah, he's really smart. He's really great. It's just a situation, too, where, Will doesn't have any stock in Keanu in the game. So who cares if you're lying to him at this point? Because if it is Ashley versus Vince, like, I know they're both a part of the judges, but Vince is on the outer ring of that alliance, like 100%. Unless something really stunning happens, Ashley is going to stay and Vince is going to go.
Yeah, I really like that Will is out here protecting Ava. It's just like, no, we're the besties. We are going all the way to the end of this. So everybody else has to go so that we can get to the end. It doesn't really matter who it is.
No, and unfortunately, Keanu is still a little bit in his own delusions, thinking that, okay, there might still be a way to keep Vince if Ashley is up there, if Mickey is up there. And there's an argument to be had about Vince versus Mickey, because Mickey's not in the judges, but Mickey does have some bonds with people who are in the judges. Vince is a target. Like, it could go either way, but Vince, I think, is much more realistic about it at this point. And I don't even think this is Vince being a sad sack, as he's known to do. I think he is just like, I got to win the blockbuster at this point. You know, Morgan, she's won the veto. Good for her, but I'm in really deep doo-doo now. Okay, so this is where we're going to have this conversation about whether or not Morgan is going to use the veto on Vince, because after Keanu and Vince went over some of these other possibilities and talked through it, this is where this subject is approached. And Vince tells him, and, you know, this is Vince, he could change his mind. You never know what he's going to say, but he's just like, you know, I don't think I'm comfortable bringing that up to her. And I get it. It's one thing to talk about this with Lauren when Lauren's not on the block. And, you know, that's a situation where, you know, she's already safe for the week. But him going to Morgan, who is on the block, and being like, you want to use that. So it's a little bit of a, well, it's not even a little bit, it's a huge risk for him to take.
And here's the other thing. We don't know exactly how close this relationship is. We'll call it, they are very close friends that have been getting closer as time has been going on. They are inseparable. So there might be a situation where he's looking outside the house as well to kind of be like, you know what? This might be somebody that I want to keep in my life as friends. If they end up getting really bitter about it, that I've taken a veto that they earned fair and square and I took it from them in a snaky kind of way, that might be something she may never forgive me for, and maybe that's worth more than money.
Yeah, and this is where Keanu kind of barges onto the scene here, because you know who does not care about any of this is Keanu, where he was just sort of like the Vince, okay, you know what? I'll talk to her about it. And as of this recording, that conversation has not happened yet. I just feel like Keanu is not a good messenger for this. Keanu's strength is not, let me try to convince you of something, because he's very much just like a battering ram with some of this stuff. I just feel like, yes, there is a chance, because this is Morgan and Vince. They've had a very unusual relationship, I will put it as, that I think there's a chance she could, but I don't think that she will. I think it's just like, you know, that you will get ridiculed so heavily if you do this and you get voted out.
Here's the only way that I really kind of see her even bringing it up herself.
Okay.
Is if she really feels like the judges have her back more than they have Vince's back. That if they have that conversation privately where she's kind of like, listen, I can kind of tell that maybe you're on the outs and I have better relationships than maybe you do. If I use it on you and I've had a talk with the rest of the judges that they are good to keep me, and then we're all safe sort of thing, then that's the way to go for it. And maybe some of the other judges might give her that reassurance. They might not.
Well, it's interesting you do say that, because I do feel like, and this is according to a conversation that Rachel had with Morgan.
Yeah.
Rachel doesn't want Vince to go this week. And that might be a lie because she's talking to Morgan. But, you know, we've talked about this already, that it benefits Rachel to have Vince in the game a little bit longer, because it's a target that's not Rachel. You get rid of Vince, Rachel is 1,000,000% the hugest target. Nobody else is even close to her at that point. So I do feel like there would be merit from Rachel's point of view, if she heard about this plan, to be like, okay, Morgan, maybe at the very least you consider it, because if it's you or Mickey, we're going to keep you over Mickey.
Right.
And then we get into Rachel's other plan here for this veto. And I think this is a way to ensure that Vince has a good chance of staying, even if Morgan doesn't do this. The problem is whether or not Keanu is going to listen to putting Lauren up as a replacement nominee.
I know. And it's hard to know. I mean, if she can spin it in the right way where it's like, I am trying to protect Vince. I'm good with Vince. Let's ride with Vince. This is how we keep Vince in the game. Then she might be able to convince him.
Yeah, like Rachel's already had this conversation with Ashley about this, where she talked a little bit about how she really wants to find a way to push for Lauren to go up. She's going to try buttering Keanu up, giving him a lot of words of affirmation. She's even talked about, I'm going to make him lasagna that he really likes, going to try to bribe him with food, like all of this different stuff.
I will take that bribe.
I know, lasagna is so good.
It is so good.
And we've already talked about Keanu loves eating in the house to the point where he's made people upset. So it's like any bribe like this, it could work on him. But the real meat of this is just that Rachel knows that Lauren's someone a lot of people in the game would want to get rid of at this point. She has won multiple competitions. She's not in the Judges Alliance. Like, she doesn't really have bonds with anyone who is over there. And it's sort of like, yeah, you look at Ava. Ava's not in the Judges. Ava's really close to Will. Will's close to Ashley. By virtue of that, is Ashley going to want to get rid of Ava? It's just a situation where the numbers don't really fly that well in a lot of other situations. But if Lauren doesn't win Blockbuster, and let's say Mickey does, and we're stuck with Vince versus Lauren, Vince has actually got a pretty good chance.
Absolutely. And that's just the way that she really needs to sit down with him and lay it out, minus the judges stuff.
Yes.
She just needs to lay it out that, they can all get the numbers together to make sure that they save Vince if it's Vince against Lauren. So let's just go with it.
Yeah. And let's have a little bit of real talk here. Just personally, I would be more than happy if Lauren leaves this week. Like, it's not a surprise to anyone. Like, if I had it my way, Kelly would be leaving this week because I do not want Kelly on the jury, but there is a 0% chance that Keanu is ever going to put her up.
As Ashley has said, how is she still in this house? I do not know.
That was really funny when she said that.
I do not know.
It's really frustrating. And yeah, I just don't want someone that erratic, but ultimately Lauren seems like a nice enough person. It's just that Lauren's not bringing anything to the show.
No, I mean, she really started out strong for me, and then I don't know what happened. Like, she's really just been so indecisive with everybody but one person. And I do understand that strategy of the people that you're close with. Okay, you're a little more clear with, but like, it's been really hard to watch.
Yeah, it has been. It's been very hard to watch, very frustrating. She's not fun on the feed. So I am just like, you know what? Go ahead, send her packing. I would rather keep Vince in the game because, Vince, like him or dislike him, like, he's always doing something. Like, he plays really, really hard, and I do have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, I respect that he plays hard as well. I still like Vince. I know not everyone does because he is sad sacking his way through the game. But like I've said, other people have sad sacked their way through the game and have either gotten really far, or people who are very iconic players like Vanessa Russo out there that, a lot of us really love. And it's okay if that's the way you're going to play the game and you can get to the end and you can win it. You win it how you win it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm going to put on a tinfoil hat here because I do have an idea for Rachel if she wants to try to sell this with Lauren. You get together the judges and you basically, I think we've even talked about with another person, you come up with a fake 6-person alliance for Keanu. You give it a new name, you stroke his ego, you make him feel like, okay, you're really in something now because he's close-ish with Lauren, he's got something with Kelly, but there's no like major named alliance over there. And Keanu, if we go all the way back to the start of the season, this is a guy who was trying to make random 10-person alliances. I just feel like you give him that element of security, like you might be able to sell him on something.
You can't trust him to not tell people. That is the problem. You can't have an alliance like the judges, which is actually functioning and doing well right now, and then bring in such a wild card of somebody who cannot keep a secret to save his life.
Okay, so we have a few other things to dive into here, but first and foremost, I just want to say that, I want Kelly to go this week, but I actually would say I'm going to put Mickey second on this list because she said after the veto that if she had won it, she would not have used it. How do you actively say this?
It's so weird. I don't understand it. She must be feeling good in the position that she's in. Why? I don't know.
No.
I haven't really seen it on the feeds of why she's feeling this secure. She just must really think that Vince is going.
Yeah, it feels like ever since she was HOH, she has totally lost touch on what's actually going on in the house and where some of the numbers are. It's just so weird. She got that case of HOH-itis, never really let it go, and she's not the same anymore.
It has been a very weird season for like vetoes or blockbusters of people that just want to throw them to other people or just like, yeah, I'm going to get the veto and not use it on myself because I'm in that good a spot.
Yeah.
That is not something you want people in the house to know. It doesn't matter how good a spot you're in. If you win that veto and you're like, no, I'm good, I'll stay on the block, I would be concerned that you are in a massive alliance. Even if you're not, that's what I would think. I would think you have a lot of votes in this house. If you think you're going nowhere, you have to go.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to another important question here, which is why would Keanu really want Ashley to be the replacement nominee in the first place over somebody like Ava, especially because he knows that Rachel and Ashley are close, and, nominating Ashley could upset Rachel, who you've just mended fences with. So he has told all of us through the cameras that he feels like Ashley has told Rachel that he wants Rachel to be nominated as a replacement nominee, backdoored, whatever you want to call this term in this current age. But that's not something he wants to do. He doesn't want to put up Rachel. He's made that very, very clear. There's also no real evidence that Ashley has actively been running around saying this. It's just he has created a narrative in his head just because Ashley has this reputation for being messy and telling people all these things, even though it feels like to me she hasn't done this as much lately as she did earlier in the season.
Yeah.
But that's where his head is at. There might need to be a little bit of cleanup from Rachel's point of view, and she is really good at that and stroking ego. So there is a chance he will get off Ashley as a possibility by the end of this day.
It's just so hard between the two of them because you never know what you're going to get at what point in the day. Are they friends? Are they not friends? They're working together. They trust each other. They don't. It's just hard to know.
The real problem here with Keanu saying this, or at least if he continues to say this to other people, is that Ashley has already said actively that she would rather Kelly go before Keanu, but if she knows, if she's not put up by Keanu, but still hears that, okay, Keanu was really pushing for you until the last second, she could flip on that. And Ashley is somebody who could win competitions down the line. I know she hasn't won a ton this season, but she has won. And so it's that is a problem for him down the road unless Rachel can convince her out of it.
It's actually kind of nice to see that the winning of the competitions has really been spread out a lot this season.
Yeah, it has. And I know Morgan hadn't won that much either, but now she's won something, and almost everybody in the house has to some extent. Even Will out of vacation, Will's at least getting something out of this.
He sure is.
All right, so now let's have a little bit of a Kelly conversation as we wind this down to just get more into how frustrated we are by watching her on the live feed. So we talked about this yesterday, how she really had this heart-to-heart with Rachel. Rachel apologized for everything that happened with Winegate and all the drama that they've had, and it seemed like Kelly was okay. And now Kelly has just gone around and bashed Rachel some more with some other people, including Lauren. And she's talking about how she has way more friends than Rachel. She's told Ashley that Rachel is a mean girl. And it's just why are you doing all of this?
Why is quantity of friends ever anything? I have never understood this. It's just I have more friends than you. You have 5 friends. I have 10 friends. Okay, well, what if my 5 friends are amazing friends that I will ride or die with, but your 10 friends are acquaintances, and some of them it doesn't matter. It's such a weird high school type thing to say, I have more friends than you. I would rather have one good friend than 10 friends that are okay. You know what I mean? You want that person that's there for you in good times and bad.
Yeah, you do. This is why I'm terrible at big parties, by the way. Some of my friends in high school used to have those, and I would just be sitting by a campfire drinking a sun-kissed soda or something. Nobody would talk to me. I
just have a really small circle of ride or die friends. I do not need to be able to be look at my list of friends. Come on, Kelly.
The thing that I really don't understand about her game is she says stuff like this that could instigate some drama, and then she gets called out, and then she feels bad, and it's just like, you do know what you're doing, right? Like, even she
Yes.
told Lauren today, and she made this big deal about it, about how she saw Vince and Morgan napping in the same bed. And, you know, to be fair to Vince and Morgan, we've talked a lot about their cuddling and all of this.
Yep.
I did not see an exact scene of the two of them sleeping in the same bed. It might have been off feeds. It might have been a situation like that. But it's also possible, because this is Kelly, that she's making this up or exaggerating it just because she wants to cause a problem.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, it's murky waters, and we're not going to get into all of that with Vince, his girlfriend, Morgan, all of that. But just sleeping in a bed, sleeping beside each other, you're not cuddling, you're not anything, that's fine. You know, you're just whatever. This is the Big Brother house. We have definitely seen people just sharing a bed and falling asleep, or having long conversations, just passing out. I'm not defending these two and some of the other things that are going on, but like, actually have something. Oh, I saw them sleeping. Okay, cool. You saw them sleeping. Did you see them doing anything else? No. Okay, then you didn't really see anything.
It's this situation where Kelly is just become so dramatic that she's led other people to have this mindset where Rachel, like, even before the veto was played, she was talking about how Kelly's probably going to try to instigate something so that Rachel can go on the block, just because Rachel knows, even despite their apology or whatever, like, this is who Kelly is. Like, this is who she's been for over 2.5 months. It's really hard to imagine that changing.
Yeah.
So the last thing to mention here, and this is the one interesting thing that kind of came out of this Kelly and Lauren conversation, is Lauren recognizing how scared Vince is playing, and her sort of putting that out there to Kelly. Is she just saying this because this is what Kelly wants to hear? Or is this finally another shred of evidence that Lauren, her eyes are starting to be opened a little bit if she does end up staying this week?
Well, this is the thing. I think, you know, Vince's two HOHs were very safe for the most part. And then you have Kian, who's shown up now and been like, no. You.
Yes.
And here is why. Welcome to the block. And I mean, if I was in the house and I've seen other people in their HOHs where they're playing a little more, you know, carefully or whatever, and then I saw him do that, it is just like opening the curtains and now daylight is pouring in.
Yeah. It is, and it makes sense for Lauren to have her eyes open. Her problem is obviously that she doesn't have that many other places to turn.
Right. Yeah.
Like, she's just in a really messed up position that could be infinitely worse depending on what does happen, because as you said earlier, this is real Jeopardy time for Vince.
Yeah, it is.
Like, unless he can win this blockbuster, some sort of miracle is pulled off, but we will see what happens over these next few days. That is where we are with this new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. So let us know, do you think there's a chance Morgan uses her veto on Vince? And, you know, what do you think Keanu should do insofar as a replacement nominee goes? Be sure to let us know. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss other Big Brother content, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. Thank you so much to everyone for your support over there. We appreciate that greatly, and we will see you here next time.